We need to talk about the cost of caring.
Yeah.
I think most of us, we operate under this assumption that empathy is a transaction.
Mm-hmm.
You hurt, so I have to hurt.
Yeah.
And that shared pain is, I don't know, the proof of my love, right?
That is the cultural script, isn't it? We sort of equate emotional exhaustion with being a good person.
But today, we're looking at a stack of sources that argues the exact opposite.
Completely the opposite.
We're doing a deep dive into a pop rock track called Helium Balloon. Its liner notes, which are called Buoyancy of Spirit.
And a transcript from a writer's room session for a show called Reclaiming You.
And the central idea here is honestly a little confronting. It suggests that feeling someone's pain, that literal mirroring of suffering, is actually a biological error.
It's not just an error. The sources frame it as a trap.
Yeah.
A failure of utility.
A failure of utility.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. If you're drowning and I jump in and start drowning with you to show solidarity.
And you just have two people drowning.
Exactly. We just have two bodies to recover.
Which is a grim image, but very effective. So we have the song Helium Balloon.
Right.
On the surface, it's this super high-energy, up-tempo track.
Totally. Major key, driving beat. But the writer's room transcript reveals it's actually designed as a psychological roadmap.
A roadmap?
Yeah.
I heard the songwriter, Ti-Fi, wrote it while reading neuroscience journals.
That's right. It's essentially a user manual for the brain disguised as an alternative pop song.
Huh.
And that contrast between the upbeat music and the really heavy lyrics in the first verse, that's deliberate. It's trying to bridge that gap.
The gap between the sinking boat and the helium balloon. Where we want to be.
Okay, so let's start in the mud then. The song opens with the line, "I used to wear sadness like a heavy wool coat."
I mean, it's a sensory nightmare if you even just think about it for a second.
It is. Wool is already heavy.
Yeah.
And scratchy.
And then the lyric says, dragging on the bottom of a sinking boat.
Right. And anyone who's worn wool knows when it gets wet, it doesn't just get damp.
No.
It holds water. It becomes an anchor. And that is the perfect metaphor for what psychologists call empathic distress.
Empathic distress.
And this is a crucial distinction the sources make right away. Empathic distress is when you absorb the emotional environment around you until you are just saturated.
So you're not just observing the pain.
You are wearing it.
But hang on, let me play devil's advocate for a second. Isn't that what we want?
It feels like it.
If my partner is grieving, I should feel that weight. It feels so cold to say, oh, I'm just going to take this coat off.
It feels cold because we've confused resonance with enmeshment.
Okay.
The Reclaiming You transcript makes a really sharp point here. It asks, who is the coat helping? If I'm weighed down by that wet wool, my capacity to move, to think clearly, to offer any actual support it's gone. I'm paralyzed.
So the argument is that by feeling every tear just like it was my own, which is a lyric in the song, I'm actually centering myself.
In a way, yeah.
I'm making your pain about my experience of it.
And the brain scans on this are fascinating. When you're in empathic distress, when you're wearing that coat, the pain centers of your brain light up.
The actual pain centers.
Yeah. The anterior insula, the anterior cingulate cortex, they go crazy. You are physiologically experiencing a threat. You go into fight or flight.
So my cortisol is spiking, I'm stressed out, and I'm fundamentally focused on my survival because my brain thinks I'm the one in danger.
Precisely. And you can't save someone else when you're busy trying to survive their feelings. The song calls this empathy sitting on a heavy throne.
We've elevated it, made it noble.
We've made this dysfunction into a royal status.
Okay, so if the heavy wool coat is the problem, what's the solution? The song has this pivot point, right? The narrator says, I flipped the switch. Yeah, I found the key.
The key is shifting from empathy to compassion.
Wait, hang on. Aren't those just synonyms?
In common language, sure. If you look them up in a thesaurus, they're right next to each other.
Right.
But in the neuroscience that's referenced in the writer's room, they are enemies, or at least rivals.
Okay, break that down.
Empathy is feeling with. That's the mirroring. Compassion is feeling for, coupled with the desire to alleviate suffering.
Feeling for. That sounds a little distant.
Does it? Think of it like a surgeon. If a surgeon felt the exact physical pain of the patient on the table, what would happen?
They drop the scalpel.
They couldn't operate. They have to care deeply about the outcome. That's compassion, without mirroring the sensation, which is empathy.
The song has that line, staying dry while I help you to the shore.
That's the staying dry metaphor. It's about emotional boundaries.
Yeah.
It's realizing that getting wet doesn't actually help the drowning person.
Right.
It just depletes the rescuer.
I have to admit, staying dry sounds a little, I don't know, smug. Like, oh, look at me on my dry land while you're flailing around.
It can sound that way if you view boundaries as walls, but the liner notes describe staying dry not as walking away, but as maintaining your own regulation.
Yeah.
It's staying in the boat so you can throw the rope. If you jump in and panic with them, there's no one left to throw the rope.
So it's a functional necessity.
It is a prerequisite for being useful. You have to be regulated to help regulate someone else.
Which brings us to the part of the source material that really surprised me. I mean, we're talking about a pop song. It's catchy.
Yeah.
And then the second verse drops this line. Lights up the brain. Yeah, the scans show gold.
It's a great line.
And the Reclaiming You host, Ti-Fi, explains this isn't poetic license. They're referencing actual fMRI studies.
That's right.
We talked about the pain centers lighting up with empathic distress. So what happens when we switch to compassion?
This is where it gets wild. When subjects are trained to move from feeling with to wishing well, that compassionate stance, the pain centers go dark.
They go dark.
And the ventral striatum lights up.
The ventral striatum, that's the reward system, right? The pleasure center.
It is. Dopamine, oxytocin, the same part of the brain that lights up when you eat chocolate or, win money. The gold the scan shows is literal pleasure.
Okay, this is the part I really struggle with. Are you telling me that if my friend is suffering and I'm being compassionate, I should be getting a dopamine hit from that?
I know.
That sounds parasitic, like I'm getting high off their tragedy.
It's a very, very common reaction, but you have to look at it through an evolutionary lens. Why would nature design us this way?
To make us helpful.
To make us persistently helpful. Humans are tribal. If helping you drained me, hurt me, and spiked my cortisol every single time,
I would stop doing it. I'd abandon the try to save myself.
You'd run away from the sinking boat.
Exactly. So nature had to hack the system. It had to make the act of helping chemically rewarding.
So the dopamine hit isn't a celebration of the tragedy.
No.
It's the fuel that lets you keep engaging with it. It's the buoyancy from the liner notes.
Yes. The gold isn't about enjoying the pain. It's about enjoying the agency, the ability to do something about it. The lyrics say, I don't just mirror the pain inside. Activate the reward. Let the love collide.
That activation is the shift.
From helpless victim to active agent. And physically, this changes everything for the helper. The bridge of the song lists the shifts. Cortisol drop, heart rate slow.
Which is the exact opposite of the sinking boat panic. When you move into compassion, your heart rate variability increases. You enter a state of physiological calm.
You literally become a safe harbor.
It's fascinating, isn't it? Resilience isn't just toughing it out. It's a completely different neural pathway.
And a pathway we can train.
Exactly. We can train it.
Speaking of training, the song name checks a specific researcher. Dr. Neff said kindness, and I said hell yes.
Dr. Kristen Neff, she's the heavyweight champion of self-compassion research.
Right. Now, self-compassion is a buzzword that gets thrown around a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Usually with, like, bubble baths and wine. But the writer's room transcript says her work is a lot more rigorous than that.
Much more. Neff's work argues that you cannot sustain compassion for others if you are constantly beating yourself up. It's simple mechanics.
You're already exhausted.
You are. If you're wearing that heavy wool coat of self-criticism, you have nothing left before you even try to help anyone else.
The lyric that follows is, treating myself like a glorious guest.
Which is such a subversive idea. Most of us treat ourselves like an employee we're trying to fire.
Or a squatter we're trying to evict.
Right. But if you treat yourself like a guest with hospitality, you keep your internal resources high. You stay dry.
And one of the key concepts from Neff that the song highlights is common humanity.
Mm-hmm.
The lyrics go, common humanity, we're all the same, playing our parts in this wild game.
This is critical for the helium balloon effect. When we suffer or when we mess up, our default setting is to isolate. We think, I am the only one who is this broken. And shame is incredibly heavy. It's the wettest wool there is.
Wow.
Common humanity is the realization that suffering, failure, pain, these are not bugs in the system. They're baseline features of being human.
So I'm not alone when I trip and fall.
Exactly. When you realize tripping is just part of the wild game, you don't have to carry the weight of being the broken one. You can just get up. That lightness is what allows a balloon to rise.
Okay, so we had the theory. Empathy hurts, compassion helps. But how do we actually do this?
Mm-hmm.
The song outlines a loop in the chorus.
Yeah.
Notice the storm, feel the rain, then build the shelter to break the chain.
Ti-Fi calls this the mindfulness loop. notice, feel, move.
Let's walk through this with a real scenario, because it's easy to say, build the shelter when we're sitting here.
Sure.
But let's say,
It's okay.
okay, my best friend calls me. She's just been fired. She is panicking, crying, totally spiraling.
Okay, great scenario.
The old way, the empathic distress way, would be for me to get a knot in my stomach and maybe start tearing up.
You'd mirror her panic.
Right.
Now you are both freaking out.
So, applying the helium balloon method, step 1, notice the storm.
You acknowledge the reality. She is in pain. This is a scary situation. You don't sugarcoat it. You don't jump to toxic positivity. You just see the storm clearly.
Okay. Step 2, feel the rain.
This is the tricky part. You allow yourself to be touched by her situation. You care. But, and this is the staying dry part, you don't download her file.
You don't let her panic become your panic.
Right. You ground yourself.
And step 3, build the shelter.
This is the move. This is where you activate the reward system.
Yeah.
You ask yourself, what is the most helpful thing I can do right now?
So maybe it's just listening calmly.
Yeah.
Or it's saying, okay, do you want to vent or do you want to look at your severance package together?
Exactly. And here is the crucial connection. The moment you take that action, the moment you start to build the shelter, your own anxiety drops.
Because action is the antidote to despair.
Because the brain loves agency.
Well,
The writer's room transcript emphasizes this. Trauma is often the result of helplessness. Action breaks the chain because it reestablishes control. By moving into problem solving, you are literally changing the chemical bath in your own brain from cortisol to dopamine.
So I'm not just helping her, I'm regulating myself.
You are. You're staying dry. And because you are dry, you're a sturdy place for her to land.
It really reframes the whole helium balloon idea.
Yeah.
I think when we started, I thought the balloon was about escaping reality.
A lot of people mistake boundaries for avoidance.
Yeah, just floating away above the clouds, ignoring the problems. But the sources are saying the balloon doesn't float because it's ignoring gravity.
No.
It floats because of what's inside it.
It's physics. It's about density. The heavy wool coat is dense with self-referential pain. The balloon is filled with compassionate intent. It rises naturally.
You don't have to force it to rise.
You don't.
And the liner notes say that lightness is contagious. Compassion isn't heavy. It's a helium balloon, lifting up the morning, chasing out the gloom.
Think about the contagious nature of panic. If someone runs into this room screaming, our hearts will race.
Sure.
But regulation is also contagious. We call it co-regulation. If you are the helium balloon, if you are calm, warm, and present, you act as a tuning fork.
A tuning fork.
Your nervous system literally broadcasts safety to the people around you.
So by staying dry, I'm actually helping you dry off.
That's the collision of love the song talks about. You lift the room just by being regulated.
That is a much more powerful motivation than just being nice. It's about being an energetic anchor. Or, I guess, an energetic balloon for your community.
It changes how we look at everything. The writer's room transcript ends with this really provocative question about, the news, the state of the world.
And we feel like we have to carry it all.
Right. We think doom scrolling is a form of empathy. But what if we stop viewing heaviness as a badge of honor? How much energy would we free up?
We'd have the energy to actually do something.
Exactly. If you aren't exhausted by the news, you might have the bandwidth to volunteer or help a neighbor.
Doing exactly what a neighbor should, to quote the song.
It sounds so small, but it's revolutionary. Reclaiming our neural resources from the sinking boat of distress and reallocating them to the helium balloon of action.
It's a compelling argument. It really is. So, as we wrap up this deep dive, maybe a challenge for you listening. Next time you feel that weight coming down, a friend's crisis, the state of the world, just check your coat.
Ask yourself, is this wool? Is it wet? Am I dragging on the bottom?
If you are, just remember, you have a choice. You don't have to drown to prove you love the ocean.
I like that.
You can flip the switch, find the key, notice the storm, feel the compassion,
Right.
and make the move.
Activate the reward.
Activate the reward. Because apparently, we're all wired to float.
We just have to let go of the weights.
That's it for this deep dive. Go build some shelter, stay dry, and we'll see you next time.
Take care.